Good afternoon, and welcome to the Avatar Face to Face. This is our first maiden television program addressing the industry of arts and culture, and particularly arts, culture, and tourism. So during the coming weeks, you'll be able to see different artists and meet different people from the industry of art and culture and tourism as we begin to kind of shape the concept of the importance of our heritage in our communities and the significant roles that they played in not only business but in arts and culture, the development of our communities and businesses, and really the importance that African Americans play in Westchester County and beyond. We are an organization that is 501c3. We are a multicultural arts organization with 4 disciplines of concentration. We deal with the heritage and the courage and the culture. We deal with the artists from the Arts Alliance. We work with the students and young people and careers behind the scenes, and this is part of our media center. In addition to this program, we have a radio program on WVOX 1460 AM every second Friday, so we'll be able to address all of the issues in our communities around this county. We're very blessed at this time to reach out to our friends, to reach out to significant people in our industry. And our first guest today is a very prominent young man that has made a significant mark in our communities through the magazines and through different publications that he is involved with. And I speak none other than to Mr. Rodney Resolds, who is the publisher of American Legacy magazine, one of which I'm sure we all have seen at one time or another. So welcome, Mr. Resolds. How are you today?
Thank you, Dillard. Thank you for having me, and thank you for saying young man.
That's right. That's what we got to do that. We got to stick up for one another.
That's right.
You know, and we're blessed also to have with us some special guests, some young people, some of our youth that are shadowing Mr. Resolds today in terms of learning what he does and getting an inside bird's eye view of the significance that he plays in this community. So at this time, we'd like to introduce to you Adiana Pitkins, who is a 10th grader from Thornton High School, and Mr. Jerome Reed, who is an 11th grader from Blessed Sacrament, all of which, or both of which, are really kind of members of the Grace Baptist Church, and their participation today is really through their youth ministry or their youth services within that church. So, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
All right. So we want to kind of begin to kick our show off a little bit with talking about American legacy, talking about, the idea of being able to publish information that makes our community become aware of our history and our culture. And this person, none other than Mr. Resolds, has done a significant job in making that happen. So we want to kind of go into the beginning of our show talking about the person. Let's meet and know a little bit about the man who began to put these ideas together and see what it took to not only do that, but some of the struggles along the way that it takes to publish. And we all know how difficult that industry is. But to successfully publish a publication, and how do you get it out there to all these people? How do you help us around this country pick up a publication and learn so much more about our culture than what we thought we knew? And everyone who's read the magazine can attest that as you read the stories, as you look at the topics that are selected, and you look at the ways that this information is presented, you can't help but kind of be inspired and learn a lot more and go deeper about who we are, the significant roles we played in this country. And so I'm going to give you this opportunity to just tell us a little bit about who Rodney Resolds is.
Well, Rodney Resolds is originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
Moved to this area in 1997. And so we've been here roughly about 15 years or so, 14, 15 years in the Mount Vernon area. I basically started American Legacy because I felt that there was a tremendous need for a magazine, a national magazine that focused on African American history and culture. When I was in Cleveland, I was publishing a local magazine called Renaissance, which was basically a publication that looked at the African American community in the greater Cleveland, Northeast Ohio area. And because of the success in that area of that publication, how readers responded to a magazine that focused on our history and our heritage and our culture, I felt that a national magazine too would be successful. So back in 1994, I started working towards developing American Legacy magazine. So that's how it originally got started. I originally looked at this particular topic though because of one of my college fraternity brothers. A lot of us majored in business and architecture, and my friend Howard majored in African American studies. And we always used to tease him and say, well, why are you majoring in African American studies when you should be majoring in business and marketing or one of those areas? And he talked to us about the importance of knowing our history.
Right.
And I thought that was very intriguing. And as I looked more into it, I got swept up in it, and because it was so fascinating. And the rest is history, no pun intended, but that's what actually got me involved in developing a magazine that focused on African American history and culture.
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. So kind of looking at that, because I myself have a background in the civil rights movement, coming out of CORE in Chicago, and then working through the EEOC component of the federal government. Understand then the significance of who we are and what we are, and a lot of us have kind of made careers, if you will, in that field. But again, just being inspired with some of the things that we've learned and have access to, and the lady is take us to a much deeper level, and in your case, having this interest, you created an entity. It was the RJR Communications, I think, is the parent company that produces the different components or elements of what you do. Tell us just a minute about that.
Well, what basically would happen, we really spent the first 5 years just solely concentrated on building American Legacy, building the circulation and distribution model, which our circulation is roughly 500,000. We have about 115,000 paid subscribers, individuals who have the magazine delivered directly to their homes. And then we have over 1,600 churches around the country that we distribute complimentary copies to. So when you look at that portion of our distribution, combined with our paid subscribers and combined with distribution that we have to about 200 organizations like the NAACP, the Urban League, Black Accountants, all those, about 200 organizations around the country, we are distributing a little bit over 500,000 copies of the magazine. So we spent the first years really just devoted on developing that circulation model, developing our advertising foundation. And then once we had a good response to the core magazine, we looked at how could we take the material that we produce in the magazine and repurpose it into other environments, or so that we could develop additional revenue streams. And one of the first things we did was to develop a television program, a syndicated TV program that's produced and hosted by Tim Reed, and you might recall Tim Reed, from WKRP in Cincinnati, Frank's Place. He's a veteran producer, and he's the producer and host of our nationally syndicated TV program called Heritage Moments. And then we looked at developing a product for kids, so we developed American Legacy Junior. We developed a magazine, a supplement to American Legacy called the American Legacy Woman, a magazine that specifically looked at the heritage and lifestyle and culture of African American women over the age of 35. But our core brand right now consists of not only American Legacy and our television specials, But we've also, over the last 4 years, we developed a mobile museum where we took a 18-wheel tractor trailer truck and converted it into a mobile museum that travels all around the country. And that's a fascinating opportunity and a great opportunity for us to take our history into markets across the country and into urban areas that might not be exposed to our history and our heritage, especially in that kind of format. And then we have some educational products. We have a board game that we developed off of the magazine called Know Your History. And then we have a Black History curriculum guide that we market to school systems around the country, in addition to our website. And we also have a digital edition. So, you know, when you look at where we are today versus where we were, you know, when we first started, we have a brand now, the American Legacy brand, which is really to be like the resource center for African American history and culture. So we want, if individuals want information on our history and heritage from a media perspective, we want them to think of American Legacy, whether they're getting it from the magazine, our television program, going to any of our special events, playing our board game, teachers utilizing our Black History curriculum guide. We want them to think of American Legacy.
Well, that's significant. That's very significant, because even in our research and the development of our show, this show Face to Face, and in terms of putting our agenda forward, in terms of this comes under really our media and our heritage component. You know, when we looked around to see who would be that resource that we would tap, you know, it was not really any kind of a challenge to look at American Legacy, because it not only had that significance to it, but it was available to people, and you pick it up and read it, reread it, and pass it on, and they can read it, so that it was just really a very applicable approach to tapping our culture. So that it's good that you're based here in Westchester. You're in Mount Vernon specifically, right?
Well, we are in Mount Vernon. We were in Manhattan for about 13 years or so, and then in January of 2009, when RJR Communications assumed all the assets of the joint venture that I was in with Forbes magazine, we moved our offices to Mount Vernon.
Okay.
And you know, we're continuing to move forward now. And you talk about how we got started, and you talk about maybe some of the struggles.
Right.
You know, it's always a struggle doing any business. And when you look at it from a media standpoint, because it's such a capital-intensive medium, you need capital. So it can, you know, we've been able to, you know, get through the last couple of years. It's been a challenging 2 years in the media business all across the country.
Right.
I mean, when you look at the fact that probably over 800, 900 magazines closed their doors in 2008, between 2008 and 2010, we're certainly blessed that American Legacy is still being published today, and then our brand is being accepted in the other environments that we distribute it into. But we continue to struggle. We're out raising capital now, so it's something that's from a business standpoint, you're always looking at you know, raising capital and strengthening your foundation so that you can build out and take advantage of the potential, the growth potential that exists with a certain brand.
Well, talking about building foundations, you know, and it lends itself to compliment you on the ability to keep surviving during these extremely tough times. And
it has not been easy.
No, it wasn't going to be. It didn't say it was going to be easy. You know, it didn't say it was going to be easy. But you know, the struggle continues and victory is certain. That's our motto. But in terms of foundation building, let's kind of divert our direction a little bit to our special guest for the day. They did not expect to be on this show today.
They didn't know
that. They were under a different assignment, if you will, and find themselves before the public here in Westchester and beyond. So let's talk a little bit about to Adria Ann. Let me ask you a question, and as ladies first is why I kind of picked you. But let's talk a little bit about the program that you're involved with. First, let's talk a little bit about you. Give us a little bit of background of kind of where you see things with Adria Ann and where you'd like to go.
Well, I'm in 10th grade at Thornton High School in Mount Vernon, and today I'm shadowing Mr. Reynolds, which is a great opportunity for me because I would like to be a journalist or a publicist after graduating college, and that's pretty much my
Okay.
little biography.
Let's talk to Brother Jerome here. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, I'm Jerome Reed, Jr. I go to Blessed Sacrament St. Gabriel High School in New Rochelle. I'm a junior. And this is a good opportunity to shadow Mr. Reynolds because since I'm going off to college soon, it's trying to look at things that I could really see myself doing. This really is one of them.
And so this particular program that both of you are a part of is a program from established in Grace Baptist Church.
Yes.
And this is a youth services. Do I have that correct?
I think it's the youth forum.
Youth forum, right? Okay.
And the youth ministry. And today there are a number of students that go to Grace Baptist Church and who are shadowing individuals throughout our church at their various job locations. But a great opportunity to provide those students with an idea, although brief, but an idea of what it's like to work in a certain industry and the things that go on. And so today, it's been great that they're shadowing me, but it's given them an opportunity to not only sit and talk with me and shadow me, but also meet the other members of our staff and find out all the different areas that are involved in developing and putting together a magazine. So looking at our total organizational structure, looking at the American Legacy brand and seeing what all those components consist of.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent opportunity. I mean, it's a free education in that sense, because you really see the real deal. It's more than notion, as they say. Huh? Well, that's great. That's great. So, in terms of that, and I think you young people will have an excellent opportunity to get some valuable information and insight of what's going on. And I wish both of you the best of luck in your pursuits. What is it, Jerome, you want to do? I mean, she indicated that.
I'm not really sure as to what
Okay.
exactly, but there's a few things that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Maybe business,
Okay.
management, sports management, media.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I mean, at least you're on the right track. You know, it isn't like a blank slate. You know, but and it'll come to you.
Yeah.
Because very few of us end up working in the field that we started or we went to school to do. And I'm really kind of off course, if you will, but it's good because it just opens up all kinds of opportunities for you. And wish you the best of luck in your pursuits, both
Thank
of you. In terms of coming back to American Legacy, it's there's a lot of information that you provided us. How do people find out more?
Well, they can
What is the website, or how
they
do
can log
how
on
do
to
they
our
do that?
website, www.americanlegacymag.com. They can call our office directly. That's 914-371-6796. That's the general number to American Legacy. But if they want to purchase our game or our curriculum guide, or just find out, how they can subscribe to the magazine, and also subscribe to our digital edition, they can just log on to our website, AmericanLegacyMag.com.
Oh, I did that the other day. I was telling you I did that. So, and was glad I did, because then I got a chance to read some stories that really fascinated me. And as I shared with you earlier, the entire story about the black jockeys and the goals and achievements and what they achieved in the racing game, the horse racing,
And that was a
high-stakes
story
game.
that we ran originally in 1997, 1998.
Okay.
And so the issue that you read was actually our anniversary issue, where we went back and we pulled about 6 or 7 stories that were considered the favorite stories over the last 15 years.
Okay.
And so we reprinted those particular stories. One story that we published in the magazine in 1997 focused on the great debaters, and
Right.
Wiley College was actually turned into a motion picture by
So that, yeah.
directed by Denzel Washington. That story originally ran in our magazine and was sitting. The gentleman who wrote the screenplay actually saw it sitting in a doctor's office and read it and thought it would be a great movie. And 10 years later, it did premiere as a nationally distributed motion picture.
It's a wonderful thing. As we kind of go forward with our goals and objectives as Avatar, I see then American Legacy can be a fantastic resource, as we look to go into the different components that we have in terms of our careers behind the scenes component. And we're fortunate to have a relationship with the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau and different organizations in Mount Vernon, as well as now we're going into New Rochelle and different cities around the county, looking at the entertainment or arts and culture industry. We pretty much kind of practice at Avatar the business of art and culture. We don't necessarily paint, but we work with painters, people who do paint, and put up exhibits, exhibitions, and to have workshops ongoing to teach them the business side of things, how to work with your displays and get it marketed and get out there in front of the public. And that's part of our philosophy. Take our culture and begin to expose it to a broader audience is really where we're coming from. So there's a series of different things that we do within the art industry that allow us to be an art and culture institution, as well then as being a business that can assist people in various aspects of how to address their product in art and culture. So you'll find us producing events, you'll find us doing community events within the community that allow people who are exhibitors and artists to be able to vend and put their product out in front of the people. You'll see us doing symposiums, which on May 21st we will be doing our second major symposium dealing with tourism and the economic impact of art and culture in Mount Vernon. So we're along that line, and we're going to be tapping people like yourselves, and we're interfacing with the Empire State Development Corporation for the I Love New York campaigns, and looking at how do we get a piece of that action. How are we able now to reach out and tap that industry, which in New York, by the way, happens to be a $21.2 billion with a B dollar industry. We're only 14 miles from there. It's just a county. How do we tell our cultural community, our artistic community, get yourself in line so to be able to take advantage of that kind of economic power? So we're kind of appear to be all around the place, but we're really into the art and culture aspect of things, and the partners and the people that we're developing will help us be able to tap those different kinds of resources and introduce us to people like yourselves. So this is kind of our first show. I thank you guys mightily, boy, for being there to help me sail this first wave and to begin to put our show out before the public, which is extremely important. I do want to speak to you, our audience, and let you know that we'll be showing up. We are in New Rochelle. We're obviously in Mount Vernon. We're based there in Mount Vernon. And we're part of the Portchester Fest. We're part of the Juneteenth celebration in White Plains. We're part of the Greenberg Concert Series initiatives. We're in Yonkers, working with some of the cultural groups in Yonkers and Lincoln Watts in particular. We're also now going up into Peekskill and into Ossining. So we're looking at those communities of color to begin to take an initiative that helps us build and preserve our culture. To do that through the preservation of cultural events, such as the Juneteenth and Kwanzaa and Black History Months, to make this connection, to make the connection of partnership, collaborations, how we can share each other's market in terms of having people support the different cultural events that are going on throughout the county, looking at how we can also come together and collaborate on actually the marketing resources that we have and the funding resources that we can develop. So it's essential for us to come together, because if we don't do it, this is not going to be done. There's no one responsible. There's no one in charge of preserving your culture but members of the culture themselves. So that's really kind of the sense of where we come from. We can be reached at Avatar. I wish we were part of the movie, but it's AVITAR. But we are going to reach out to them, see if there's some sympathy in a sense there. But it's avatarfoundation.org, and we can be reached at 914-664-7970. Our email address is db@Avatar Foundation. So we encourage you to write us, to let us know what topics you'd like to see us discuss, the people that you'd like to meet, and to begin to support, always support the arts. Now, it's important just to give a quick message. On May 21st, we will have that symposium in Mount Vernon from 10 until 3. On June 2nd, we'll have our first annual gala on June 2nd at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in White Plains, and that will be from 6 to 9 p.m. So we're out there. Our radio program is WVOX 1460 on the AM dial out of New Rochelle, and we'll be speaking, and that is the Avatar Connection. We'll be speaking about various topics within the art and culture industry. So any of you that have information that we can follow up on, historic information and significance in your specific community, write us. Let us know about that so we can help research that. So with closing departure, it's really a dream is in the mind of the believer and in the hands of the doer. And you're not given that dream without giving the power to make it happen. Have a good day. Peace.